next one is to find a way to say yes, right? We do have things that we do, and sometimes we have things that we don't necessarily do, but we will do those because that customer really needs that, right? And so we have to make that decision. And I read about a story. There was a woman whose father was 89 years old, living in a different town in Pennsylvania than she was. And it had snowed, and there was a big snowstorm going on, and she was very concerned that he wouldn't have enough to eat. So she started calling around to different grocery stores, looking for somebody that could deliver. And this must have been before the delivery, all these deliveries started, right? And no one would deliver. Well, she finally got hold of Trader Joe's, and they said, well, we don't deliver either, normally, but tell us what you need. So she kind of gave them the list of food, and they suggested some other food, and put the whole package together, and they delivered it to her father in the snowstorm, and they didn't charge her. So where do you think she shops now? Where do you think her father shops now? Right? So they had an opportunity right there to say yes. If they had said no, what would they have been? Just another store. Just someone else who was saying no. Right? Because it's not something we do. Probably most of those people just thought, that's not something we do. So we can't do that because it's not in our policy. Right? So we can't do that. But great customer service, people who think differently, think, how could we do this? How could we do this? So they're looking for that opportunity to say yes. Anticipate the customer's needs and then act. So if we're always waiting for the customer to come to us and say, here's what I want, and then we give it to them, we're just another service. We're just like that salesperson who sits and waits. We were talking with Dean, sitting and waiting for the phone to ring, right? Because we're really busy right now, and it's really a good time, and so I can't sit here and wait for the phone to ring, and then I answer that phone. But during those busy times is the time where we can really create new business, because everyone is busy, and if we can go out and serve more people and anticipate needs and find out what people need and start calling our customers and saying, hey, look, we're running out of this thing that you need all the time. Do you want to get some before we run out? Because it's not looking like we're going to get them in real soon, and you're my customer, I want to make sure you have enough, right? So how many of you have watched the original Miracle on 34th Street? Right, the one with Maureen O'Hara. So do you remember Santa Claus? The guy plays Santa Claus, and he's meeting these kids, and the kid wants a fire truck, and they don't have any there, right? And the mother's going, oh, don't say he's going to get the fire truck, right? He goes, oh yes, you can. I'll promise you, you'll get that fire truck. And she says, go over there. I want to talk to Santa, right? Yeah. Remember that? And she says, you don't have any here. He goes, well, he pulls up the little notebook out of his thing, and he says, well, yeah, they have them down at this other store, right? And then she goes to the marketing guy, and she says, well, I've never been a Macy's customer before, but from now on, this is where I'm going to do my shopping, right? And then what does Macy do? He finds out about it, and they think they're going to get in trouble, and he has every department do it. And they start creating books of ads so they can help everybody, so you can start to anticipate the needs. If we don't have it, or we don't have exactly what you need, we'll send you to a store that has it, right? It's not a marketing gimmick, it's customer service. It says, we are more concerned about you than this one sale that we can make. So anticipate the customer's needs and act. And I think this is the last one. Make it easy for the customer to connect. Find ways to connect with the customer yourself, all right? So when my father was a young captain in the Air Force, this was probably in the late 50s, early 60s, he was traveling all over Asia and working with and meeting a lot of the natives, the people that live there. And so he started trying to learn to eat with chopsticks, but he wasn't very good at it. But he was at a dinner table, one of these round type tables that had the spinner in the middle, and he was sitting next to an elderly Asian couple, and they didn't seem to like him very much. And the table was set with, spoons and forks, but it also had the chopsticks at it. So he grabbed whatever he was going to serve and served himself, and then he started eating with chopsticks. And all of a sudden the lady smiles at him and says, "Oh, I see you're eating with chopsticks." And her husband leans around and says, "Do you speak Mandarin?" And after that, she started serving him, and they had a wonderful conversation. Now, today we'd call that cultural appropriation, but instead it was just being nice to people, right, and being kind to people. And so, by making himself approachable and making himself available to their traditions, he was able to create friendships. So we're looking for those deeper relationships that we can build. So those are some positive things that we can do to promote customer loyalty.